Hello and welcome to Vallis Way, home of league leaders Ealing Trailfinders, as the champions take on the challenge of Caldy in one of 6 matches on yet another Super Saturday in Champ Rugby this season. Chinner hosted Nottingham yesterday evening in what can really only be described as biblical conditions. I can confirm that the outlook is a little bit brighter, if not that much warmer here this afternoon in West London. The early kick-off this afternoon was Doncaster Knights making the trip to Hartpury. They are currently 7 points to the good, the Yorkshire side. And 4 other contests starting at the same time as ours kick-off, just a few minutes away here. And these 2 sides that will shortly be running out set a blistering pace out of the blocks at the start of the season that none of the other sides could live with. From their first 4 games, both Ealing and Caldy picked up 4 wins, each with a bonus point for scoring 4 or more tries. Inseparable in their standings at that point, the 2 teams have then followed diametrically opposite trajectories. Trailfinders have maintained their perfect record and are now 8-0 with 8 bonus points, putting them 7 points clear of the chasing pack. Caldy, on the other hand, have then gone on to lose 4 on the bounce, 2 losing bonus points, their only prize since the start of October. Clearly, Caldy are not the favourites going into this match, but they're not a side that shirks from a challenge. 10 years ago, they were still in Nat 2 North, but since fighting their way up to the champ, they have already claimed the scalp of an undefeated Ealing. That was back in January 2023 when they came back from 17 points down to take a famous victory at Patton Field. Repeating that feat this afternoon would be the perfect way to get their champ campaign back on the right track. They'll have to do it though against a Trailfinders side with 7 rotations to their starting 15, 4 of which are due to injury. Having played 10 minutes fewer than he would have hoped to against Scottish, lefty Ziggy Riadis gets the start at loosehead. The versatile former Loughborough man David Bridge is in at 8, while emerging Scotland international Josh Taylor returns to the starting 15 with the captaincy at open side. Consistency in the halfbacks with Craig Hampson and Dan Jones continuing from their typically assured performances a week ago, while in the centres Geordie Gwynn is up from the bench as Ruben Bird-Tulloch's season continues to be frustratingly impacted by injury. Having come through Trailfinders Academy, Elliot Chilvers will get an opportunity to impress in the front row later in the game. Toby Wilson may be wearing number 21, but the man who's carried for 747 metres this season won't be coming on at scrum half. He's just wearing the shirt that fits him best. The visitors will hope that their 8 changes can be the key to turning around their 4-game losing run. Matt Gallagher will start as captain and hooker with JJ Dickinson on the bench and allowed a well-deserved rest, or at least the closest thing to it, having notched up his 350th appearance for Caldy last weekend. Having started at the club when he was 5, blindside Callum Ridgway could one day follow in Dickinson's footsteps. Liverpool lad Nye Thomas at scrum half is one of 3 backs benefiting from experience playing at Sale, with Kieran Wilkinson and Obi Ene, the other 2 that you won't want to take your eye off any more than Ealing's defence will. Matt Kilcourse is in form at 15, having been Caldy's last player of the month. And with 2 scores against Chinner, replacement hooker Ollie Hearn will be itching to get back on the pitch and over the whitewash, while over 200 matches worth of experience will be brought on by winger turned second row Martin Gerrard. Alongside me, Will Shepherd. I am delighted to be joined by Kyle White, Ealing's Centurion Scrum Maestro. And on the one hand, Kyle, I'm sorry to see you up here rather than on the pitch. But on the other, I am, of course, delighted to have you alongside us.
Yeah, no, very delighted to be here. Obviously wish I was on the pitch there with the boys today, but unfortunately through an injury, I'm going to have to be watching from the top here with you.
Well, Ealing's loss and your loss on the pitch is our gain. It's the viewers' gain, because there isn't anyone who's going to be able to give us a better insight into this one, given that Trailfinders and Caldy are the 2 teams in the champ with the most dangerous front rows. 10 tries scored by Ealing's front row. Just shading that tally with 11, though, is Caldy. How integral are the big fellas going to be to the two teams' performance today?
Yeah, we've looked at them this week, and obviously Caldy have a very big forward pack, a very heavy pack, so we need to make sure we on it today. We need to stick to our process, and that's obviously what we come in each week and think we just got to stick to our own game and stick to what we know. So very excited to see how the boys go out there in the scrums.
And it's not just finding a way to the line that Caldy's front row excel at. Their 65 scrums won is more than any other team in the champ, and their success rate on their own put-in is above 90%. Do you think that today is the toughest test that Ealing have faced so far this season in terms of an opposing pack?
Yeah, not only in the scrums, but looking at Caldy's maul in the week, they've had huge success in their maul. We need to make sure that we don't give them the opportunities to enter into our 22. And then obviously if they do enter into the 22, then making sure we stop it at source and don't give them any easy tries.
Of course, we mentioned that you're up here due to injury. Can you take us through what happened last week against Scottish and what's the road back looking like for you?
So there's not too much comms at the moment, besides the fact that obviously went for a scan last week, and the scan results came back and I've basically torn my labrum. So unfortunately it does look like there's going to be a bit of time off the field, but hopefully not an operation. I'll obviously go and see the surgeon on Monday and see what he has to say. But yeah, due to a scrum collapsed, that's basically what caused the injury. So unfortunately when you're stuck in there with all that weight falling onto you, there's not much you can do, and how you can't really exit from there.
It's not a place that I ever wanted to find myself, I've got to be honest. It's a season that, while the injury is obviously not where you'd want to be right now, it has brought with it your 100th appearance for Ealing. Just take us back to that day and how proud you were to run out for the 100th time in the Ealing jersey.
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously a big thing for me and my family. I've never made 50 caps or 100 caps for any other team. So amazing achievements, and really proud to be able to wear that jersey 100 times for the team.
Speaking of proud, so are the 15 men running out in the emerald green jersey for Ealing Trailfinders this afternoon, as are the men from Caldy, resplendent in their orange away kit. Those of you that were following the match at Chinnock last night may have struggled to see some of the numbers on jerseys as that game went on. Given the conditions, there will be no such issues here this afternoon on the artificial pitch here at Vallis Way. Jamie Parr, the late call-up to referee this match. A titanic tussle between the two most dangerous packs of forwards in Champ Rugby is Clubber TV's early Christmas present to you all. And it is Ealing that will have first use of the ball, and they will have the advantage as well with a sniff of a knock-on in that restart to open the game from Caldy. Craig Hampson will go to the tried and tested box kick early that will require Reece Tudor to run on to that one. He took it well, but then forced into touch. And the two teams, Kyle, were able to warm up in dry conditions, and this rain has suddenly started just as they've run out, and it does look to be blowing fairly well across the pitch from the side we're on to the other.
Yeah, it always seems to be the case on this pitch. Even during the week and training, it's dry, and then as soon as we come out for a session, it starts peeing down. So yeah, it always does seem to be that way.
Francis Moore on the wing, 3 tries in the last 2 games. He will be eager for more as Ziggy Riadis pops in the short ball for David Bridge to thunder into the defensive line. Jones with plenty of options to his left-hand side, and this Ealing machine just looking so well oiled, so comfortable as Holgate steps in at first receiver. And the offload carries Ealing up towards Caldy's 22. Opportunity for their first visit of the match, having comfortably worked from one side of the pitch to the other, off the line out. Come back the reverse way. And now Caldy just growing into their defensive jobs a little bit better. Trailfinders struggling to make much go forward in these last few phases. Perhaps Ziggy Riadis is the man to do that. Two Caldy defenders required to stop him in his tracks there as Jones flings this one back two more, and now Dykes in this week at 15, offloads to Bobby De Vere. Pulled down just short of the line. The ball is up and being wrestled for. Cool is that the ball was stripped and taken back over the goal line, so Parr will bring the two sides 5 metres in field from the goal line, and it's going to be your favourite bit of the match coming up for the first time, Kyle.
Yeah, no, this is where we come watch rugby. As we saw before, building phases, we just need to try and break them through the defence, try and stop them from the fold, and then we'll be able to break them on the edge. So that was good play from Ealing there, just building phases, holding the ball, and now we've got a nice big scrum here on the 5 metre.
Trailfinders, the pack, looking a little bit more ready for this scrum, and well, they might. They're the team that will have the put in, the team with the opportunity to start the scoreboard ticking here this afternoon. Ziggy Riadis, Cornish and Davis, the front row for Trailfinders. Allo, who returned to play with a half-hour appearance in the opening half against Scottish last week, not able to follow up with a second game of the season today. Scrum resets, I mean, how much as a prop do you enjoy just winding the ref up a little bit? And
I don't think it's really about winding the ref up. I think it's the first few scrums you need to get a feel for the other packs, see how much weight they're coming through with. So now both teams have an idea of what they're up against.
so the second attempt. Will Trailfinders be able to feed? They're not. Front rows going down on the far side. That's Ziggy Riadis and Sproston. Sproston of Caldy, a man who's got plenty of experience playing in England, but also in France for Béziers and Dijon. Also connections in Wales, from North Wales originally, and that is where he currently runs a very successful coffee shop. If you're ever in North Wales and in need of a bit of a perk up, Joe Sproston is your man. Caldy need him to be their man here. They need him to hold up his side of the scrum and drive Trailfinders back away from Caldy's line. Third time lucky for the feed. Advantage for Trailfinders. Hampson flings it out to Holgate, and it's going to be a simple score. Geordie Gwynn sent over by the posts. Not a hand laid on him. Having recently plied his trade for emerging Scotland, he featured off the bench last week against London Scottish, now gets the start here today and scores early in this one.
Yeah, not only emerging Scotland, but emerging Ealing. He's come through this season and has been outstanding for us. Obviously coming from the Brunel Academy, he's been great for us in the first couple games of the season, scoring some unbelievable tries. So really great to see him break through the line like that and score another try for the boys.
Caldy will now kick this ball back down the pitch towards Trailfinders. They'll want to be able to contest more effectively than they did last time, and Robinson's quick tackle there pinning Trailfinders in their 22 for the time being. Bridge with the carry. 3 men back for Chinner, anticipating Hampson's clearance, and it includes Callum Ridgway. But it's Kilcourse who will take it and opts to kick rather than offloading to Ridgway. Ridgway's the man who'll chase, who'll jump in the air and lose it backwards. So Davis able to get there for Trailfinders, and now Taylor, the captain. Small takes a thump from Ridgway, just gets the offload, but it's not going to be enough to keep the ball in play for Trailfinders here. Caldy combining a 3-man effort, included Jordan Jones to drive Ealing over the touchline, and 7.5 minutes into this one, we will finally see Caldy have the opportunity to gain some possession.
Yeah, this is where Caldy are dangerous, so we need to hope that Ealing over here can hold the boys out and not give away any easy penalties. If we give them an easy penalty, get into our 22, and that's where it becomes dangerous.
Caldy not able to claim their own line out, but it surprised Hampson as it dropped down, and so he's knocked it forward. And a Caldy scrum would have been the option if it hadn't gone into touch. Caldy deciding to give their line out a second opportunity to work here.
I was getting quite excited there to see the scrum. We got a perfect view here of the scrum. It's quite unlucky that it's going to just be a line out.
I'm sure you'll get another opportunity to see from this angle as the game goes on. Trailfinders make a mess of Caldy's line out and immediately go onto the counter through Hatherall. Up past halfway already. Caldy need to get numbers over to that far side because Ealing have plenty out there themselves. Spin out of the tackle. Just having the option shut down on them. Caldy creeping up offside, so need to go back. Jones with everyone to his right-hand side. Ziriadis, so often used as a carrier in these opening exchanges, but he's driven well back towards his line there. So Hampson will loft this one again. Obiene, the Sale Sharks man, leaps highest. 3 Ealing players taken to bring him down as Hampson goes too early on his opposite number, Thomas. Oh, hitch kick. Step from Sam Olliott. Only 2 in the backfield for Trailfinders as De Vere makes a real nuisance of himself, throwing himself forward like a salmon at the ruck there. Moore finds some space, finds some support. Holgate stabs this one through. And it's going to beat everyone to the corner. Gwynn was doing his best to get there. Thomas able to just shepherd the ball out over the line. Ealing's second scoring opportunity comes to nothing in the end, but good to see that inventiveness.
Yeah, that was great play. Obviously, like I said before, trying to break them in the middle and get them to the edge. Good movement of the ball there. Just unlucky about the bounce to obviously go past the dead ball there.
So Uriadis just down here for the moment for Ealing. Looks to be attention paid to his ankle or his calf.
Yeah, it looks like they might be having a look at his knee over there. Hopefully it's just a bit of a Kit Kat. He's just taking a break. Hopefully nothing serious.
Sigiriadis, one of a number of players involved in the Trailfinders setup to have come through the academy and come through Brunel Uni. How much is that relationship benefiting Ealing these days?
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, we've got a nice section in the bar there where we've got all the pictures of the boys that have come through the Brunel Academy up on the wall. There's been a fair few of them that have an opportunity to play in the senior side. Obviously Lefty being one of them, and it's been a pleasure watching him grow over the last couple of years that I've been at the club.
And there's also definitely a South African flavour to Ealing's pack. How at home does that make you feel?
Yeah, it's quite annoying actually. You want to come to a different country and meet new people and meet new cultures and create new memories, and then you're stuck with the same people from the same place. But yeah, no, it is very, very nice having a good community of South Africans here, and yeah, great group of boys.
Of course, West London's never really been short of South Africans, has it? So Uriadis just slightly teasing the referees. Sitting up a few moments ago, they thought he was ready to get back to his feet. As it is.
I think he heard that we were going to a scrum, so he's asked to carry on. Just getting strapped up, and I'm sure he'll be back in there soon.
How much does your approach to a scrum differ on an artificial pitch to a grass pitch? Do you have to think about your foot placement and your distribution of weight?
Yeah, well, we're obviously very lucky having the opportunity to train on the artificial pitch during the week. But then when we do transition to a grass pitch, it is a lot different. Grass pitch, obviously making sure you bring your feet up a little bit higher so that you don't slip and collapse the scrum. And then on this, you can be a bit longer if you want and get a bigger shot, whereas you might have to take a bit off on the shot if you're on a grass pitch.
Good to see Lefty Uriadis back to his feet, heading over to the scrum. And Caldy, having opted for the line out, and the ball was knocked forwards by Ealing a few minutes ago, will now have their first put in. Over 90% success rate on their own feed so far this season. I said start of the match that this might be Ealing's toughest test in the scrum so far this year. Certainly will also be the case for Caldy. And they need to get that ball out there in short order. The scrum really wheeling round. Slightly running out of options on this left-hand side, and ball accidentally flung forwards from Kilcourse into Tudor, who was then offside. So a penalty for Ealing. Jones with the little shape for the crossfield kick, but we all know where he's going to go with this one.
Yeah, a lot of pressure there coming from that scrum, so Caldy's sort of run out of options and obviously fumbled the ball there. So now it's put us in a good position here to potentially get another score on the board.
Cornish just inside the 22, fires long in the line out. Taylor pulls it out quickly and on to Moore, who spills it forwards. Can Caldy counter here deep inside their own 22? Not with passes like that, they can't. They will be relieved that the advantage was still being paid out to them and that they can come back to the scrum.
Yeah, I think that's quite unlucky there. Obviously the ball being quite greasy, wasn't able to get that last pass away. He had the space there, so right option, but just poorly executed, unfortunately.
Bobby De Vere heading over to take part in the engine room of this scrum. He's had a few games up here in the commentary box this season. Did he give you any tips ahead of today?
I think it's probably better when he's up here in the commentary box. You don't have him slapping you on the back in a scrum. I think that's the biggest thing, is he's a bit of a hype man in the scrum, so he'll slap you on the back, slap you on the bum, and sometimes it's not really what you want in the cold and the wet.
Have you said that to him?
I have, yes.
Trailfinders exerted tremendous pressure on Caldy's last feed. Aside from the Wirral, just about got the ball out in time. They hold firmer on this occasion. Logan picks and goes, but he's run away from support there. And Caldy can count themselves lucky to have maintained possession as their captain drives into the green wall. Wilkinson is going to put this one high in the air for his backs to chase. It's knocked backwards towards Kilcourse, who offloads, and Wilkinson is in a bit of trouble here. Pulled down by Campbell. Caldy making heavy weather as the weather itself starts to clear up, of getting out their 22 here. Ealing again content to just have a couple of players in the backfield. So quickly the rest of the team able to get back and onside. Cornish, the quick hands and options to the right hand side. Moore looking for the pace. The offload very nearly goes through the hands of Campbell and into those of Heatherall, but has just been flicked forwards. And so what would have been a certain try for Kyle Heatherall is chalked off, and a Caldy scrum in a not too dissimilar position to their last one will be the end result.
Yeah, it's a bit unlucky we weren't able to get that ball into Kyle's hands, because when he gets that ball in the 22, he's very dangerous. So, yeah, we'll see what we can get from the scrum.
Caldy, who at one point in the season had exact same record as Ealing. 4 games played, 4 games won, 4 bonus points secured. Have headed in the other direction since then. They are 7-0 behind in this round 9 clash of Champ Rugby. How big a scalp would it be for them if they were able to do the job here today at Vallis Way? A number of sides have found themselves more than 7 down to Trailfinders at this point, and this is the best opportunity for Caldy so far. That crossfield kick from Wilkinson working out really well, and they have possession now just short of halfway with plenty of options to this left-hand side, but again the handling lets them down. Ealing quickest to the loose ball, and so we'll use the advantage with Jones stabbing the kick through. Gwynn not able to get there in time. The second time in the game that he's been sent running after a kick that's beaten him off the pitch.
Yeah, I think Matt Cornish will probably say he did that on purpose, headering it through the gap, but I doubt it was.
A few players perhaps inspired after Joe Marler did that in the World Cup, and seem to have attempted it, or claimed to have deliberately attempted it since then.
Yeah, well, if there's one person in the team that fancies himself as a 10, it's Matt Cornish.
He might not find his way over the try line quite as often as he has so far this season if he was playing at 10. So I guess for him it's a decision between being on the front cover of the magazines, as you get to be when you're playing 10, or going over the try line, getting the scores. Scott Buckley just 1 try behind Cornish this season. How important to the two of them is that competition for top try scorer?
Yeah, I think obviously they'll be taking that competition very personally. But at the end of the day, it's a forward's try, not their try.
Love that, Kyle. Caldy, with the pressure throw, are able to secure it cleanly. Their handling, which has let them down at vital times thus far in the match, must be at its absolute best here. A mistake in their own 22 will almost certainly see them increase the deficit to Trailfinders. Sensing that, Thomas is going to take the opportunity to clear. Slight deflection on that one, and Cornish will just about cling on outside the 22. The Trailfinders to be able to launch a new attack. Slow ball to Jones, who finds pressure rushing onto him from Caldy's defensive line, but through Dykes they are now into the red zone. Hatherall first receiver. Again, quick hands. Davis. De Vere just trying to find the overlap on that left-hand side. Trailfinders ball handling. That bit better than Caldy so far. Hatherall nearly slipping through. Caldy just about slowing the ball down to allow their defensive line to reset. It was looking ragged for a moment. Bridge. There are gaps on this near side. Zigiriadis decides to run into a very large Caldy defender rather than one of those gaps. Classic prop play. Gwyn nearly has his jersey pulled off him, so he tries to find the way through. Trailfinders narrow. Jones not able to take that one cleanly and then hit afterwards. Moore. Broken field. Just gets back into the 22. And Caldy win the penalty. Trailfinders holding on the floor. Huge moment in this game for Caldy.
I was just about to say we need to hold the ball and try and build phases here, so unfortunately we didn't do that. But I must say I'm very impressed with the Caldy's defence at the moment. They're filling the field really well and putting in some big shots to send us back.
Just managing to slow play down enough around the ruck. You guys thrive on that quick ball and the defensive line not being able to get across and cover the gaps on the far sides. But Caldy dealing with that well at the moment.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. We obviously want to play a very fast brand of rugby here, so slowing the ball down like that, getting someone over the ball, sort of just making a mess of the breakdown is obviously the best way to fill the field with your defence.
Penalty kick, found touch, just short of the 10-metre line. It's not the cleanest of line-outs from Caldy, but they do maintain possession. Thomas with the kick down the far side. Plenty of time for Campbell to send it downfield, although he sent it too far. Over the dead ball line it goes, and it will be a Caldy scrum inside Ealing's half. We know Pat Campbell has got a really good boot on him, having previously won the All-Ireland Minor Football Championship with Cork. But on that occasion, his boot just a bit too powerful. It might have been all right on a Gaelic football pitch, but on a rugby pitch, too far.
Yeah, I didn't actually know that fact, so you've just taught me something there about my own teammate. But yeah, then unfortunate that one couldn't go sort of into touch there, or else we would have had a nice, was it 50-22? I think it was.
Yeah, a few Irish players in their Trailfinder setup over the years as well. Gaelic football, is that something that you've had the chance to watch with these boys?
I haven't had the chance to watch it since I've been here, but I actually went on a tour when I was in South Africa at school to Wales, Ireland and England and watched a few Gaelic football games. So yeah, I've watched it and it's actually quite enjoyable.
Caldy looking good here, finding the gap through Wilkinson, now into the 22. That ball just knocked forwards with the foot rather than the hand, so they do maintain possession. They need to maintain the momentum. However, Trailfinders now take their turn to slow things down. Conor Wilkinson again involved in this play. Kieran Wilkinson just had to check there, taking the ball slightly behind him and to the right, which meant Trailfinders defence got onto him quickly and got onto him quickly enough to be able to win the penalty. And Caldy's first foray with ball in hand into Ealing's 22 will end with no points on the board for the visitors, but promising signs there for Caldy.
Yeah, Matt Cornish is a hard man to move when he's over the ball like that. Some might say he's a bit of a truffle peg. Just knows where the ball is and sticks his nose in there. Hard to move him afterwards.
Part of me wants to steal that line and use that in commentary in the future, but I'm not sure how well received it would be if I described a hooker as a truffle pig. Quick line out ball from Trailfinders. Moore looking to get around the outside of Wilkinson. takes the contact. Ealing straight from one touchline to the other. Davis. Eurovicius breaking through, stiff-arming multiple Caldy defenders, still going 10 metres out now. Really good chance for Trailfinders, who will have the penalty. And in fact, this is going to be a sin bin as well. Matt Gallagher, match day captain for Caldy. It's the man who's sent to the bin. Not releasing in his urgency to make the tackle on Mattis Eurovicius. Really good break from the second row.
Yeah, no, Mattas is sensational when he gets his hands on the ball. I remember watching him when he was still a 20-year-old and before he joined Harlequins and he was playing for London Scottish. And I remember seeing him make breaks like that for fun. I think we were very lucky though that Chinna landed on the wrong side. Oh, sorry, Caldy landed on the wrong side of the ball there, because that was almost a very easy turnover for them then. We didn't have anyone covering behind.
Caldy forced into the change. Ollie Hearn having to come on at hooker so that they have the personnel to pack down in this scrum. Well, he's not a bad player for them to bring on. 9 tries already this season, which puts him second in the champ scoring stakes after he notched up 2 against Chinna a week ago. And a vital first involvement for Hearn. His side scrum must hold firm against Trailfinders. Right in the middle of the 22. Options on both sides, and Jones starts to track his men left as the scrum wheels around. It's going to be reset. Bridge might have thought for a moment there he had the opportunity to go in under the posts.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're giving the ref a very easy option there when the scrum wheels like that. Even if you are dominant on one side, it's sort of better to just have your medicine and hold your feet and wait to go forward as a whole pack.
So Trailfinders want to try and disguise their backs move. Having slightly started to show their hands, and Jones was expecting the ball to come out to him. He's directly behind the scrum, with Dykes behind him as well. Winning more to the right. Penalty, Ealing. With the scrum wheeled, Hampson thought the score should have been allowed, but the whistle had already sounded out around Vallis Way. Not unsurprisingly, Trailfinders call for the scrum again. What's the most number of scrums that you've done in one go where penalties have been awarded, resets have been called for, do you know?
I don't think back-to-back scrums has gone past about 3 or 4 until the ref gets a bit fed up. But I have had a game where I've had about 42 scrums in one game. So, yeah, needless to say, my back was a bit sore the next morning.
The crowd trying to play their part as well here at Trailfinders Sports Ground. Doing their best to tell Jamie Part, the man on the whistle, what they can see from the stands and which way he should be awarding the penalties. On this occasion, he's going to opt for a reset.
Yeah, unfortunately, George Davis there just losing his footing. So hopefully we can get our feet up in this scrum, go forward.
Davis himself isn't far off emulating you on 100 appearances for Trailfinders, 80 odd at the moment.
Yeah, George was here 2 seasons before I joined, so he's been here the whole time I've been at the club for the last. Well, this is my 6th season here. So yeah, we built a strong connection, and yeah, really close with him.
Park awards the free kick, but you would sense he's losing patience with both sides at this point in time. Cornish says, you know what, let's leave the scrum for the moment. We're just going to tap this and run it hard at the line. Hampson flings it out to Hatherall. And De Vere is the man that's breaking through and throwing himself over the line here at Vallis Way. 2 scores up for Ealing Trailfinders. The latest through the big South African second row, Bobby De Vere.
Yeah, amazing stuff there from the quick tap. I must say that our quick tap has worked really well for us this season, so not too sure why we don't go to it more often, but very good break there from Bobby De Vere.
Yeah, I feel it's an underused weapon for a lot of teams. So often the teams go through the more traditional set plays of the line out and the scrum, but actually a tap and go can work so well, and the fans love to see it as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of teams want to sort of assert dominance through the scrum and maul, so that's maybe why they go to a maul option. But, I mean, like I said, it's been working really well for us, so good to see it come off there again.
De Vere will have hyped himself up with that score. I'm sure he'll be hyping his teammates up as well as they set to receive the restart. 14 points to the good with half an hour played in this round 9 clash.
Yeah, we normally see a celebration from Bobby, so I'm surprised we didn't see one there. Maybe just didn't catch it from this side, but yeah, surprised there wasn't a big celebration there.
Maybe he was slightly worried about what you might say about his celebration up here in the comms box, Kyle.
I think he got a lot of stick last week from the celebration he did, so that could be it.
I have to say, when I was reviewing the footage in my preparation for this game, and I saw that try again, which of course I saw live at the time calling the match, but I didn't realise then how many times Bobby replayed his sidestep as he ran back to halfway.
Yeah, well, it wasn't even his try. It was just from a sidestep that he did, and he just wanted to let everyone know that he did a good sidestep. So it was really, really funny to watch back.
Caldy will be pleased with the return on that restart to get the scrum. 14 points down. They need to find a way back into this match sooner rather than later. Last week against Chinna, they managed to keep pace with their opponents in the early phases of the game. So they work up to the 22 here. Hatherall's definitely conceding the penalty for Trailfinders there. He will claim he was doing his best to get out of the way on the floor, but perhaps he would have been better suited there to just staying still.
Yeah, there's not much he could have done there, but unfortunately, you're giving a bad picture. There's always going to be a penalty. So now we got Caldy here in our 22, and this is where they're dangerous, so hopefully we can hold them out.
Kieran Wilkinson has come through the age grades for England, representing his country at under 16, 18 and 20s level. A man who knocks this ball down into the Trailfinders 22. Hearn still on for the Sinbin Gallagher. Throws long at the line out. Caldy's first job is complete. Now they need to get them all driving forward. Trailfinders have really got to grips with it here. So Thomas out to Connor Wilkinson. Just the 3 players over to Caldy's right hand side, so they will come back to the near touchline. It's Ridgway Tries to spin his way through the firm tackle. Sproston. 3 trail finders on him, preventing him from getting any go forward. Not releasing, however. Parr feeling the tackle was completed. And so Wilkinson, well, he's going to try and get this one just a little bit closer to the corner flag if he can. Small on the last occasion had a fair way to drive.
Yeah, that was great to see in the last maul. We've obviously trained this week to try and hold out the Moldies, the Caldy's maul. So unfortunately we've given them another opportunity here, so hopefully we can hold them out again.
Same call at the line from Caldy. Connor Wilkinson in 2 minds as to whether to add himself to that drive. In the end, he waits out there at first receiver. It's the first to collide with Ealing's defensive line. Hearn the next, and he's sent back towards his own. Step from Ridgway. Hatherall just about did enough. Kieran Wilkinson chips over the top, but that's not going to go to anybody in an orange Caldy shirt. Mark called by Dykes, who then looked to go quickly. Parr just brings him back.
Yeah, that maul defense is very pleasing to see. So, yeah, hopefully we can keep it there for the whole game.
Gallagher is back on, which means that Jordan Jones, or Chunker, as his teammates call him, although I'm reliably informed that no one actually knows why he's called Chunker, at least not in the Caldy setup, can both head back onto the field. Ollie Hearn's little cameo in the first half comes to an end. He will be called upon later in the game. Caldy with their first real scoring opportunity there. 2 driving mauls in Ealing's 22. Neither of them able to put points on the board, however, and the decision of Kieran Wilkinson to go for that kick seems a little bit of an odd one, given they'd not played many phases.
Yeah, it was a bit of an odd one, but I think the defense from Ealing there was very good, sending them back a couple big shots, so kind of left them with no other option than try and sort of hit it to the boot.
Just spilt backwards, but then I think forwards on the next one, and indeed it is. The error compounded with Caldy offside as they try and dive on it. Hampson, the classic scrum half, not just satisfied with the original penalty, appeals for the second, feeling that Caldy had taken the ball with them.
Yeah, it's funny, he even does that in training too, so it's not off to see from him.
Good to see that he's dried out, however, having been down at Jinnah yesterday for their match against Nottingham. Puts in a real shift as Ealing's scrum half and as Jinnah's head coach. Parr just wanting to make sure that Caldy aren't slowing proceedings down here, as the momentum swings back in Ealing's favour. Off the top of the line out, Holgate and Gwynn teaming up in midfield. Quick ball round the corner here. Behind Cornish it goes to Hatherall, who threads his way through the gap. 7 metres out now, trail finders. Just clinging onto his bridge with the ball behind his head, rolling over to gain a few more yards. And then the try from Matt Cornish, taking his tally to 8 this season, over in the corner.
Oh, there's some great ball carries there, sort of midfield carry there from that, like you said, that combination of centres there. And then obviously on the edge you got Kyle Hatherall, as I mentioned before, getting into the 22, amazing ball carry, getting the ball down to Cornish, and can say that try actually is his try.
Yeah, slightly different to a number of the tries he's got this season. Not sitting at the back of them all, waiting to be dragged over. He had to find himself in the right position there. But An absolute textbook try from Ealing Trailfinders. If you were a coach of a grassroots side and you're wanting to teach your players to use lineouts effectively, then replaying that will be a great teaching tool. Jones just sends this conversion slightly to the left side of the uprights. So it remains Ealing 19, Caldy 0. That was a really nice try, that.
Yeah, it was lovely. Good seeing the momentum coming through the carries from the boys, and then just taking an easy edge. Matt Cornish under the sticks. Well, not under the sticks, but
wraps round. He'd been used as a decoy runner earlier in the move. Wanted more and got more. Gwyn just knocking this one back. Takes it into his 22 and slices it off the outside of the boot. So no sooner than have Ealing extended their lead do they hand Caldy an opportunity to strike back. A free opportunity to throw into a line out inside their opponent's red zone for the side from the Wirral. Each week, there's a good 50 to 60 Caldy fans in the clubhouse when the Ravers are playing away, watching their team on Clubber TV. Sure they will be there today, willing from all those miles away their team to get through the 22 here and get across the line just before half-time. They're not going to, if Eurovicious has anything to do with it, ripping the ball away, loose on the floor, but cleaned up in the end by Jones. De Vere, the second of Ealing Trailfinders try scorers, waiting for the ball to come to him. And those Caldy fans in the clubhouse at Patton Road will have to wait a little bit longer to cheer for their team's score. Hampson decides in the end that there are options over to this right-hand side. 4 Caldy players in the backfield meant there was a lot of space around the right-hand side. Not for the first time. Ealing are going to send this one long and over the dead ball line. There will be time for the Caldy scrum.
yeah, it seems like those kicks aren't really going where we want them, so maybe need to have a little bit of a chat here at halftime about where we're sending our kicks and making the right decisions on when to kick.
The scrum being set on the 5-metre channel. Acres of space for Caldy to play into. Left winger OBNA just having a chat with his fly half. Eager to be used in this move. He's not got much ball yet, has NA. And he's such a potent weapon if Caldy use him.
Yeah, I think this is the most important scrum here for Caldy of the half, so hopefully for them they can get the ball out and get a good platform here.
Hand on that from Trailfinders. So Caldy have the advantage. They may well have another there as Jones's tackle slips up high. NA in at the ruck. Slow ball for Caldy, and options just not quite there as Logan fights his way through the contact. Quick hands from Weatherby. Sends that ball to no one in particular. And the decision was that the ball was just knocked on in the tackle, and therefore with the clock in the red, Jamie Part blows his whistle, brings this first half to an end. It's a half that has seen Ealing Trailfinders score 3 times. Caldy unable as of yet to get themselves over the try line and to find a way back into it. No bonus point yet for Trailfinders, but that's going to be job number 1 when they come out in the second half, Kyle.
Yeah, I think most teams when they come and play against Ealing, they come out firing in the first half. So we've kind of spoken that the first half we just need to weather that storm, and then second half we can hopefully come out and put up a bigger performance. We've obviously got the bench that can come on, a lot of impact players. So yeah, hopefully come out second half and score a few more tries and hold them out from scoring any.
So we have a look at the scores from the first half, starting off with Geordie Gwynn ghosting through the gap by the posts. Dream Centre's try, linking up with Holgate inside him.
Yeah, as I mentioned before, Geordie's got great vision. He knows where the holes are, he knows where the gaps are, and he knows how to get through them.
The second try was the tap after the scrum, just couldn't get going from either side. And it was Bobby De Vere who flung himself over the line on that occasion. You've got another opportunity to check for the celebration here, Kyle.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if he does one on the ground there. Doesn't look like it. I think he's more worried about... Oh, maybe? No.
Is that little Superman arm trying to come out there possibly? And then Hatherall breaking through the line. So many options for Trailfinders, tracking round to the right of the ruck. Bridge just holding on to the ball, and then it was Cornish who was there to slide through the gap.
Yeah, I tell you, Doug's very lucky to hold on to that one because he's been given a lot of stick in the past about being butter hands, so it's good to see him hold on to that ball.
Well, as the sun goes down in West London, floodlights start to shine out at Vallis Way. And the stars of Ealing Trailfinders getting themselves over the line on 3 occasions. They lead 19 points to 0 at the break. The comeback job is what awaits Caldy in the second half on their visit to the champions. The roars and the applause go up again around Vallis Way as Ealing Trailfinders, 19 points to the good, are the first side to make their way back out onto the ground. Caldy just choosing to take a few more minutes in the sheds to plot their way back into this contest in a round 9 of Champ Rugby that is throwing up competition in every single match. Just a score between Chinner and Nottingham at the end of their game yesterday. In the early kickoff today, Hartpury are currently leading Doncaster 30 points to 26. That game able to be taken by either side as it heads to its closing stages. The showcase match, Bedford Blues against Cambridge, which ought to have been a relative procession for the home side, coming into it in third in the table and against the team that are bringing up the rear. But they find themselves 21 points to 10 down at half-time. That match being simulcast on Rugby Pass around the world. So plenty of eyes on that one for what could be an upset victory for Cambridge. While the lower end of the table battle between Richmond and Ampthill sees those teams separated by just 5 points at half-time. Only 2 points between them on the league table as well. Caldy are back out on this artificial pitch at Vallis Way. And we are underway as Dan Jones sends this one down into the Caldy 22. Hatherall trying to put in a big chase and tackle. Caldy just about spinning out of it. And they will at least have the wind behind them in this half. Toby Wilson, a half-time substitute, running the ball up from that right wing and creating an attack here for Trailfinders that's taken their captain Josh Taylor up to the 22-metre line.
Yeah, as you mentioned before, I think it looks like Toby's been subbed on, and it looks like lefty's also been taken off for Elliot Shilvers. So looks like those are the only 2 changes.
Holgate wrapping around to the right-hand side. And Shilvers will be involved now. If you were following the stream through half-time, you might have seen Ziggy Riardis limp his way across the pitch and over to Trailfinders' subs bench. The latest in Trailfinders' loose head injury problem, mounting injury problem, as Hampson fires this one back in field to Eurovicius. Puts in the silky offload. Dykes wrestled to the ground. Caldy conceding a couple of metres there and conceding the try. Toby Wilson, 3 touches from the fullback since he's come onto the pitch, and he crosses for Ealing's bonus point score.
Yeah, building some good phases there. Obviously, like you mentioned before, the rain's starting to come down now, so good stuff to hold on to the ball, and then obviously Twinkle Toes himself getting over the line again.
Is that the official club nickname for Toby Wilson?
No, he's got a few nicknames I won't mention here, but Twinkle Toes should definitely be one of them. The man's got some good feet on him.
Good feet, good under the high ball, as he showed with his first touch that set up that attack. And Jones does get the extra 2 on this occasion. 3 from 4 for the fly half so far in this match, taking Ealing to a 26-0 win, and of course their 9th bonus point of the season in their 9th game of the season. Hampson collects the restart, sends his return down the touchline. Caldy playing the line out quickly. Wilkinson trying to pin Ealing back in their own 22. Again, Hampson will send it down. Appeals from the home crowd for a forward pass on that one. Not seen by the refereeing team, and this could be trouble for Ealing here. Caldy were coming through at a rate of knots. Unfortunately, so were their hands. They knocked the ball forwards. It will be an Ealing scrum, but just a sign there of what Caldy can do in broken play.
Yeah, I think Caldy's obviously one of those teams. You don't want to give them any loose ball because they can attack from anywhere. So very lucky there to get that knock on. So hopefully we can get a result here in the scrum and get back into their half.
Chilvers, as we mentioned, on for Ziggy Riadis in a half-time substitution. Another of the men to have come through the Brunel Academy pathway into Ealing Trailfinders. And the delay to the game here is a Caldy injury. Luckily for the players, the rain that's picked up at half-time has just eased off, so it's the reverse of what happened in the first half. Kyle, not always the case that the rain starts when you come out onto the pitch.
Yeah, it does seem that way. It seems like it's on and off today, which is quite good. Able to build some phases with not too much of a wet ball. It seems like there's a lot of stoppage in this game. Hopefully the boys aren't too battered out there. Luckily, I'm not out there at the moment because I think I'd be even more battered than I already am.
You might find the questions about the date of your return to play start amping up though with that injury to Ziggy Riadis.
Yeah, I think they might just cancel the meeting with the specialist and just tell me their own verdict of when they think I should be back. But hopefully there's nothing serious with Lefty, and I'm sure we'll have a chat after the game and see how he's doing.
Injury enforced change for Caldy. Kilcourse helped to the sideline. Former North of England under-20 captain makes way for Charlie Hyde. Joined the club when he was on a gap year from Loughborough Uni. Still at Loughborough Uni, but opts to play for Caldy rather than the multiple Bucks Super Rugby champions. And we'll hope that he can inject some go forward into their play in this second half. But for now, well, I was about to say, for now it's defensively that they will need to get to work, but then the ball just sent out on the full by Toby Wilson. Those pink boots putting a little bit too much power on that occasion.
Yeah, it seems we're making some tough decisions there on the kicks, not getting the right outcomes, but once again, luckily our scrum takes us back to a good outcome.
As a member of the front row union, do you think in the analysis this week that one of the boys might say, I think we kicked a little bit too much and a bit too long and a bit too wide in that game?
To be honest, I think the front rows tried to stay away from that. Don't have too many comms when it comes to kicking because we obviously have nothing to say about that. But yeah, same thing. I hope backs don't mention anything about scrums.
Hatherall coming at a rate of knots there for Trailfinders, who have options to this left-hand side. Pulled back into the arms of Bridge, who beats the first tackler, just wrestles through the second, eventually down to the ground, a couple of meters out. Jones still has options. It's Taylor towards the post, stopped at the last. Advantage, Trailfinders. Ball is slow here, so the penalty will be given, and the sin bin will also. The second yellow card shown to Caldy in this match, and similar situation to the last one. The infringement not repeated, but it's the stage of the match. It's the fluidity that Ealing were demonstrating when the penalty was conceded. That's the reason it ends up with a man walking off the pitch for 10.
Yeah, a bit of a cynical penalty there, but obviously it's a hard one when you've got someone like Craig Hampson on the opposite side of you who's obviously going to try and milk the penalty as much as possible. So yeah, tough one to get the card there. So we'll see how things unfold now.
Monty Weatherby, the man that has to make way. Formerly plied his trade in Jersey. Because he is a prop, it means that Nathan Rushton will make an appearance, and even more frustratingly, as far as Jordan Jones is concerned, it means he has to head back off for the second time in this match as Caldy make the change in the front row. Now I'm told that Nathan Rushton is an absolutely expert proponent at riling up his opposition, almost in the Joe Marler mould of props, getting under the skin. So we will see whether he can contribute in that aspect at this first scrum since he's entered the fray.
Yeah, I think I heard him say there to Bobby, I haven't even had a scrum yet. So he's already in the head of the players here, so he's definitely one of those guys who can get under your skin.
Ealing with the feed. The last time they had scrums 5 metres out, they won penalties, they won free kicks, and they scored in the end from the tap and go. There will be a reset here.
Yeah, once again, as I mentioned before, too many wheeling scrums. We need to try and go straight through them if we're going to go forward, or else we're giving bad pictures.
Bobby De Beer agreeing with you. Keep it straight is the call from the South African second row. Similar setup to the centre field scrum in the first half.
Yeah, we don't need to do anything complicated here. Just get a nice clean platform here. Send it out to the backs.
Free kick for the Trailfinders. Will they opt to go for another scrum, or as they did in the first half, will they go for the tap? And that is the option. Cornish, last time he stood over it and then didn't take it. He tracked to his left. He does so again, but in the opposite direction. Hampson fires it to Hatherall. Trailfinders searching for their 5th score here. They still haven't conceded one. They will have the penalty at the very least as Taylor tries to push his way over. They think they've got there. Parr just trying to find the angle. They're still short. Penalty to Trailfinders.
Yeah, I think someone must have been listening to me there when I said we need to go to quick tap a bit more. Second time now, obviously putting us in a good position here, and now it seems like we're going to the mall.
Maybe, Kyle, there's a coaching future for you as well as a commentary one.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Jones sticks it over, and Ealing will have the maul from the line out. They will concede the penalty. A rare example of the Ealing line out, the Ealing maul misfiring, and that has got under the skin of the Ealing pack. You wonder whether Rushton might have been a little bit involved there.
Oh, I'm sure he was. Yeah, that's just a great example of how good a sack can actually be. We spoke about how Caldy come with a sack in the mall, and they've executed perfectly there.
Kieran Wilkinson with the wind at his back. We'll look to send this one long. Young fly half growing into a real leader at Caldy. And he's learned from one of the best in the game in terms of fly half leaders, having played as the understudy to George Ford at Sale. Caldy making a couple of changes, both in the front row. Ollie Hearn on for his second appearance of the match, having come on in the first half, Sinbin, and now Ryan Higginson, former Wirral man, now at Caldy. Line out one by the visitors. A lofted ball. Wilson, who is so good underneath it, just spills it on that occasion. And spills it forward for a moment. Trailfinders thought they might have got away with it.
Tell you what, I must say that catching a ball under some height like that, I'm very glad I don't have to do that. I don't think I'd be very good at that.
Did you ever practice on the training field?
To be honest, I've actually done it once or twice, just a bit of fun, but yeah, too much pressure.
And this swirling wind, certainly extra hard. And a rare drop from Wilson. Will hand Caldy the scrum. Both sides have emptied their bench of front rowers. Ealing partly forced into that due to injury. Caldy forced into the full change due to their second sin bin of the match. They are still playing with 14 men to Ealing's 15. As they try to find their way back from 26 points adrift. Penalty tapped, and then the high ball put in. Caldy looking to play here. Wilson does better on that occasion, but takes a double tackle for his efforts. Caldy straight off their feet at the ruck, however, Wilson straight back to his, and it is a penalty to Trailfinders.
Yeah, great take from Toby. They're obviously relieving some pressure, apologies. And yeah, obviously that scrum, we got a new front row coming on for Caldy and obviously for Ealing, so just need to try and hold those scrums up.
Hampson fires it out quickly to Jones. Holgate. He's done so well with those quick balls at the line in this game so far. Wilson on the overlap, finds more. Only one of Ealing's two starting wingers to still be on the pitch. Campbell having made way for Wilson. All picked up off the ground. And Holgate will be involved again. Jones now finding De Vere. Turning from lock to winger. And he's going to have the ball wrestled away from him. And Ealing did have the advantage.
Yeah, surprised we didn't see any fancy footwork there from Bobby.
He's used up all his steps in his celebration from last week. He's got none left in the tank. Back to a more conventional second row job, lifting there in the line out. It's Hampson just hitting his thigh with the ball. Dykes does well to avoid his team losing ground. Cross to Taylor. Bridge. Gaining a couple of metres through the tackle. Eurovicious just clinging onto it. There are numbers on the right-hand side for Ealing. There's not a great deal of space there. If anyone can find it, though, it would have been Wilson. Lost forwards by more. Attack comes to an end.
Yeah, once again, Caldy doing really well there to fill the field, get around the corner and hold Ealing out.
Jamie Park having a good game today on the whistle and communicating effectively with players on both sides, just explaining his decision making. Caldy once again holding out against this Ealing attack in the second half. As far as they're concerned, that's not enough. They want points on the board. They want to show what they can do in attack as much as in defence. They're going to have to go the length to do it here. Wilkinson sends it down to Moore. He's got plenty of space to build up. Well shackled. This is going to be an Ealing line out after the deflection off a Caldy hand. Changes at half-back for Caldy. Nye Thomas and Kieran Wilkinson's days are done today. They head to the sideline on calm Ollie Wynn. He scored last week against Chinner. And Lewis Barker. The starting fly half before Kieran Wilkinson arrived at the club. A man that's had 3 ACL injuries, the second of which prevented him from representing Wales under 20s. But he still has really good footwork despite that. Caldy's second sin bin period is over and they've actually weathered that one pretty well. But Ealing still on the attack here. Stacking everyone over to the near side. Wilson with the quick hands to send Dykes over. The man who started in Wilson's 15 shirt adds the 5th try for the home side.
Yeah, once again, just showing how when we build phases and hold the ball, we can score some easy tries like that. We got some dangerous backs on the edges, so get the ball to them, and pretty obvious what they can do.
Former London Irish man with Champions Cup experience, now plying his trade with the Trailfinders, Michael Dykes. Five tries up for Trailfinders. A relentless scoring ability showcased once again in this one. And also, they've been so good at starving Caldy of chances, preventing the visitors from gaining any momentum, any real foothold in this match. Jones putting a good lick behind that. Misses to the left. Trailfinders 31, Caldy 0, as we close in on the 3/4 mark in this match.
Can't be that hard, can it? Just kick it through the poles.
They should just get props to kick, shouldn't they, really?
Well, you say that, but it's actually quite funny. One of the kickers for Trailfinders women is actually the number 4.
Good to see the John Eales style of play coming back in. Second rowers kicking for goal. Speaking of second rowers, Bobby De Vere breaking up over halfway, but the loose offload means that Caldy will take over with the advantage being played here. Oh, Bobby's thrown it away and then he's given away the penalty as well.
Yeah, naughty boy.
Hyde sends that towards the touchline. He will be the preferred option kicking from hand. Lewis Barker has many strengths to his game, but he'll leave the kicking to hand to some of the other players in the back line. Fortunately for De Vere, that is going to be his final act of the game, is giving away that penalty.
Yeah, he'll be a bit upset about that, but obviously opens up a good opportunity for Jordi Irvine here to come on and show what he can do.
Frustration for Caldy, unable to secure their own ball on the line out. And so Ealing just outside their 22. Will send this one up for the chase. Knocking it back. Nearly finding the gap. Acres of space towards this touchline. Hands would get Ealing well down the field if they can thread it wide. They have up to Gwyn. Caldy just about managing to track over fast enough to shut the threat down. Trailfinders, as they so often do, thought they were going to try and work it back to the new open side. And in the end, just knocking it over the top through Sam Edwards. Wilson will run it back. Bit of confusion with Moore. Still Wilson, not the best kick. Opportunity here for Obiene. As he hacks it forward, he's got the pace to go after it. But Dykes was always going to be the favourite there. Dots it down over his own goal line for the dropout.
Yeah, not the best kick I've seen Toby do.
It looked to be probably about as much heel in that kick as there was toe.
Yeah, I think it was an attempt at a grubber, but yeah, lucky to not get a try scored against there.
Jones goes low and long. It's allowed to bounce by Caldy. Wynn sends it on to Logan. 10 inside the Trailfinders half now. Barker. Haven't been too many carries by Logan in the game to match those latest two. Really crashing into the line. And it's going to be a penalty advantage again to Caldy. Quick hands. There's a chance. There's a 2-on-1. Robinson just didn't feel that Logan was far enough up to be a realistic option. Still working the ball to the left-hand side, appealing for the high tackle. They do get a new advantage here. In the end, Parr awards the penalty, feeling that play had slowed down.
Yeah, you don't see that very often. Rob Farrar with some bad tackle technique.
Logan with 3 vital involvements in that last passage of play. Just takes a moment on the knee. No sign just yet, however, of JJ Dickinson warming up on the sideline. So Logan will continue. I will leave those of you watching along at home to work out who Ruben Logan's famous parents might be. Both of them massive names in the sporting world. Caldy used the penalty to kick for touch just outside the 22. And here's Logan who just clings onto it. And they start driving into Trailfinders 22. Oh, under the arm of Hearn, who can't gain much ground, peeling off to the right-hand side. Ridgway repelled. Off his wing, Reece Tudor is looking for work. He's not had much ball out to the fringes. He's not going to get more on this play here. Penalty to Ealing.
Yeah, Geordie Irvine, they will be lapping that up. He's been doing a bit of training in the week, getting over the jackal. Tall man, but when he's over that ball, it's quite a hard boy to move.
Scannell, former Munster man, finds touch on halfway with that penalty kick. And the fans about to get a bit of a surprise as that ball bounces down in front of them, slowly rolling off the roof. Rushton taking it upon himself to just have a little bit of a word with Parr. Ridgway, after a bit of treatment, will head over to the line. He took a bit of a knock in the warm-up. Saw him shaking off a stinger in the arm. Looked to be something similar on that occasion. Both times he has been able to continue. Ealing throw. Go to Eurovicius. Scannell finding big men in the back line. Nice agility there. Slower ball. So Trailfinders will kick. NA in the backfield. Ridgeway heading there to be an option on the carry as well. It is NA who tries to take it, leaps into the air, knocks it forwards, and an Ealing scrum will be the result.
Yeah, a bit unlucky there for Caldy. Hoping to relieve some pressure there, but now they've got Ealing close to their 22 again. Scrum to come.
One of the real storylines across the champ is the different sizes of squads that the various teams have, the different levels of resource that they have. For you at Trailfinders, it must be awesome to know that as you go into that second half, as the changes start to be rung, that the players that you're bringing on from the bench have just as much experience, just as much ability as the guys they're coming on to replace.
Yeah, no, we're very lucky with the resources we have. Obviously, can be quite frustrating for boys too, because when selection comes at the start of the week and you're not in the team, but you've obviously someone of a high caliber, obviously can be quite frustrating not being selected. But when you look at the squad we have, it's difficult to pick a 15.
You'd sort of love to be a Trailfinder selector, and you'd hate to be a Trailfinder selector as well. Riches to choose from. Difficult to make the picks.
Yeah, glad it's not me. Some tough conversations that need to be had at the start of the week.
The backs track over to the left as the advantage is given to Ealing at the scrum.
Speak about something called a perfect pressure sequence, and hopefully we can come and bring one here. It's basically scrum pin, maul pin, try.
The first of those three ticked off. Looking now for point two, the maul pen. Six Trailfinders heading to the line. Ravicious the man sent into the evening sky. There won't be a maul pen because Trailfinders are quickly away from it. More lifted in the tackle. Everyone coming to the left. Irvine. Ravicious with quick hands. Caldy just getting enough numbers over to this short side.
Yeah, very interesting decision to pull it out of the maul there, but I think obviously the last maul where Caldy decided to sack it, I think maybe we were just a bit scared of that.
Edwards having to work to dig this ball out. Holgate has been excellent with his distribution today. More cutting back inside, still moving forwards. 5 out now. Quick ball for Trailfinders. Hatherall into the ruck. Just staying backwards. Wilson trying to clear it up. Caldy clinging on defensively here. Another penalty, another sin bin. The third time that Parr has shown a yellow card to a member of the Caldy ranks.
Yeah, I think Caldy just getting a bit desperate there, hoping to try and get the ball back and forcing a negative outcome, playing the 9.
This looks to be Lewis Barker heading to the touchline. Just trying to see who it is that Parr was saying about shouting at him there. Imagine it might be Rushton.
I think it was Rushton.
Loyal to Caldy is Nathan Rushton. He was back. He was there at the club back in the Nat 2 North days. helping them win promotion to Nat 1 from where they launched themselves up into the champ. They've been here for a number of seasons now, looking comfortable at this level. Absolutely stunned at the start of the season. 4 wins, each with a bonus point. They were the only side that could keep pace with Ealing through the first month of competition. They've fallen away since then, mid-table now. They are still very much in the race for the playoff positions. Remember, at the end of 26 rounds of Champ Rugby, 25-26, we will have 6 teams heading to promotion playoffs. Teams 3 to 6 will play off against one another for clashing with teams 1 and 2. And then the winner with the opportunity to go up to the Prem. Ealing line out. They do form them all on this occasion, pouring players into it. It's tracking forwards, it's tracking to the right. It is a try for the Trailfinders. How many of those have we seen from the men in green this season? You can chalk another one up there.
Yeah, awesome play. They're obviously doing a bit of a shift maul, throwing the ball from the front to the middle of the line out, and great outcome.
Deciding that the maul was a safe enough option on this occasion.
Yeah, it seems to be Scott Buckley there getting over the line, so it's going to be another competition there between him and Matt. Another try on the board.
Buckley pulling one back. That takes him to 7 this season. Level again with Cornish. He picked up 2 last week. Scannell hits that low, hits it hard, hits it through. Ealing Trailfinders 38, Caldy 0. Approaching the final 10 minutes of this round 9 contest. The weather, as it did in Friday night's clash, starting to play its part. Although conditions markedly easier for the 2 sides, especially on this artificial pitch, than it was in Tame in Oxfordshire last night for Chinner and Nottingham. Caldy line out just a shade inside their opponent's half. Hearn, the man to throw in, goes short. Rushton takes it immediately into contact. Win. Remember, Caldy once again playing with just 14 on the park. Still looking for a score. Wilkinson, Connor, one of the 2 brothers still on the pitch. And it turns into a penalty for Caldy. Play stopping for the head injury to Ollie Hearn. As Wynne thought a quick tap could lead to a score for his side. Of course, their main concerns will be for their teammate. He's getting checked out here near the touchline.
Yeah, I think Caldy, they're obviously looking for ways to break through the defence. Just unfortunate that we gave them an easy out. But yeah, lucky that there was a bit of stoppage play, because Caldy, when they take those quick taps, can be very dangerous.
Hearn will go off for the head injury assessment, which will require Matt Gallagher to head back on to the pitch. Caldy just informing their starting hooker that his day is not actually as done as he thought it was. He returns to the fray and will immediately have to throw into a Caldy line out. just outside Ealing's 22. Hyde, who can play across the back line, steps in to the 10 role. Ball's not going to come to him. Trailfinders with the man advantage can counter here. That has gone out on the full. It's taken back inside the 22.
Yeah, wrong decision there again on the boots.
I think you should mention it in the analysis, you know, Carl.
Yeah, I think I should. Probably could kick better there.
So, Caldy have a second chance. This one a shade closer to Ealing's try line than the last one. Ealing scoring on their last maul. Caldy looking to use theirs to set up a try for Obiene. He gets within 5 of the line and still his team have possession. It's the closest they have been.
Yeah,
There are numbers coming round to the right-hand side. Olliott, the latest to lend his frame to the attack. Slower ball here. Wynn will have to dig for it. Just waits for the opportune moment. Trailfinders growing into their defensive work here. Caldy redistributing to the left. They're going to go one more phase to the right. Jones waits for it. It goes just in front of him to his back row colleague Ridgway. Now there are some more numbers to the left, but with every phase, Trailfinders are driving Caldy back towards the 22-metre line and in the wrong direction as far as the side from the northwest are concerned.
Yeah, some great defence here from Ealing. Obviously, Caldy hoping for a bit of magic to come through and break the line here.
Logan on this far right-hand touchline for Caldy. What could he add to their attack if the ball is fizzed out to him? There's no one to be a link player, and so they will go back to the left-hand side, finding themselves stuck just outside the 22 for the time being, working really hard. But against the defence of Trailfinders, it is such a difficult task. And you add into that, they're doing it late in the game. A player down. You can just see they're slightly running out of options here, running out of energy as well. Hyde goes into contact himself. The young man is isolated. The knock-on is forced by Ealing. And you wouldn't bet against them countering here with a score. They have numbers. Wilson puts it ahead. It's going to go over the touchline. It does at least bounce in field, but it's not going to be a scoring opportunity in the end for Trailfinders.
Yeah, that was excellent defence there from Ealing. I think we'll be watching that back on Monday morning, and I'm sure our defence coach will be very pleased with that.
Sin bin period close to expiring. Lewis Barker keen to get back onto the pitch. As Rob Farah is going to head off for an HIA. The decision, interestingly, from Ealing is that they are not bringing anyone on to replace Rob Farah as he heads off for his HIA. So it will be 14 on 14. And when Barker's sin bin expires, Caldy will, for the first time in this game, have a man advantage. These short line-outs working well for the visitors as this match moves on. Just about holding on to the ball there. Sam Ollier. Tudor, he's injected pace every time the ball has gone to him. Quick hands to Logan. That ball just spilt forwards and it's going to be a penalty to Ealing with Caldy going in at the side. Clearly a word coming there from Caldy that Parr wasn't happy with as he marches them back another 10.
Yeah, I think this isn't the scenario you wanted, Ealing getting another opportunity here in the 22. Not as close to the try line as we'd hoped for, so we'll see if there's a special play.
Trailfinders disguising their line out cool well and getting moving. Penalty to Trailfinders. Higginson not happy at all.
Yeah, you see a few teams at the moment trying to do that step off, but if you don't get it technically right, very easy to get a penalty against.
So, Ealing can go again from closer to the line. Caldy disrupt, send it backwards, although loose ball there is not what they would want. In the end, Dickinson, Gallagher I should say, sorry, does well to cling onto it. Caldy looking to exit. Wilson not interested in playing that one quickly. And as Barker attempts to make his entrance to the pitch, Parr brings this match to an end. Ealing Trailfinders winning 38 points to 0 over Caldy. The only team that were able to keep pace with them early in the season. They were not able to keep pace with them today as the Trailfinders continue to swat away opponent after opponent. It doesn't seem to matter at the moment who you are or what your record is. Whether you're playing Ealing at home or you're playing them away, Ealing wins.